you've had on this college. So thank you. My job's to not mess it up. I a number of years ago arrived in Indiana to lead part of the college there, a number of campuses in Indiana, community college there. And I remember the story of a donor that gave us a building. It actually was the former Ball Jar corporate headquarters. They used to be located in Indiana. And Mr. Fisher gave us the building, and it happened shortly before I got there. And one of our foundation board members, Mr. Fisher was in the hospital, and he had the keys to the building, and he throws them to the gentleman, Ron Farquhar is his name. And he said, "Here you go." And he grabs the keys and he's like, "Well, these are the keys to the building." He said, "Yep, don't screw it up." And so the college I was at was the huge recipient of this fantastic building. Well, guess what? Because of all of you and the taxpayers of Johnson County, we have a campus that blows away any community college campus in the country, frankly. Frankly, it would hold up against any of the finest four-year institutions in the nation. And that's because of the vision that you had for this college and that has turned into Johnson County Community College as we know it today. So thank you. This is a dream come true for a guy from a rural community in the central part of the state of Michigan to have the opportunity to come be at one of the finest community colleges in the country. I'd argue it's probably number one, is a dream. And the team here is doing a great deal of work. Operating a college in these goofy days of a global pandemic is continuously interesting. Our faculty have done an amazing job. They do every day. But when the world came to a screeching halt, as we know it, back in March and over a spring break period, and frankly, we experienced the same thing in Indiana. Of, oh, nuts, we got to lock this thing down and do it completely differently. Oh, yeah, in 2 weeks, if that. The faculty have done a great job and continue to do so today. Our classes are about 80% of some form of online and 20% face-to-face. And the services that we provide on campus, every one of our offices are open, but many of our staff are working remotely. And so when you think about counseling services, a lot of that is being done remotely, just like we're doing here today, and pulling up a screen and talking through things related to programs of study and choices that students are make and the good guidance that they get there. We can do that remotely. Financial aid can be done much of it can be done remote. And the list goes on and on. And so while we often talk about the great work that our faculty are doing, the same thing is happening on the staff side. It's amazing the way students are being cared for. Our enrollment is down about 8%. If you saw articles in the newspaper early in the semester after census date, we were down 24%, which made this guy gulp. In a big way. I mean, it wasn't a surprise. We saw it happening. But that was 75% of that was due to the delay in the start of the K-12 year. And so with the College Now concurrent enrollment, high school students taking college classes at their high school, ramping that up with the start of the school year. And now we're about 8% down. And on the credit side, we're about 5% down. So it's all within the world of manageable. It's less than what we'd like to see, but the students who are here are committed. The campus itself continues to go through a significant renovation project. Again, thanks to you as taxpayers. $110+ million was invested in campus. And so from a manufacturing technology standpoint, the now welding, construction and machine tool building it went from a large closet, as some of you probably know, I'm exaggerating that slightly, to I think we had 16 welding bays at one point. We have 96 welding bays today. It's amazing. The FADS building, Fine Arts and Design building, is a top-notch art facility. The CTE building that bears the Hugh Libby name, the skilled trades in there related to HVAC and electronics and electrical and so forth, again, state of the art. So what you've invested in is a pretty amazing college campus. And then we're in the design phase with faculty around the science labs. That was kind of one of the last major pieces of the puzzle, was upgrading our science labs to be today's standard of state-of-the-art collegiate science labs. And so faculty are working on that together with the facilities team and others in kind of mapping that out. So lots of really good things going on campus. I think at the end of the day, the question is, what are we doing for students and how are students doing? And our students are doing remarkably well. We looked really strong in the spring from a completion standpoint, the number of students earning the credential. It's a little bit softer than it was the last couple of years before that, but we had a fair number of students that didn't finish the spring semester due to COVID. And so, we saw some little bits of decline there, but our students are staying strong. We're seeing, good retention numbers in terms of students staying with the courses for the semester this fall. They're doing well. So anyways, what questions can I answer for you? What do you want to know about what's going on? And if I don't know the answer, I'll find out and get back to you on it.
If you have a question, you'll need to unmute yourself.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yes.
Who is your current league rep? League for Innovation rep?
Yep. Currently, league rep is Randy Weber.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Yep. And if you don't know Randy is our vice president for student success and learner engagement. And he's also picking up the finance and administration oversight as well. So, yeah.
Do you have any idea when the next league meeting is going to be?
We had a league board meeting 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. There's one plan for the spring. They've already committed that it's going to be a virtual meeting. So it's good to connect with, the league reps to connect and for the presidents to connect. It's still not the same as being in person.
Right. So, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Tell me a little bit about what your plans are regarding the disease that seems to be spreading. Are you closing down all of December? Is there a chance that you might not open? I mean, if it becomes so bad, you may not even be opening. Is there got any details on that, please?
Yeah, that's a great a great relevant. We hear the governor may even be speaking this afternoon. This is literally the hottest topic going on in all of well, frankly, in the community in general, but specifically within the education space. We designed this semester to be able to be as nimble as necessary, depending on what's going on around us.
Right.
The good news to date is that if we look at, we've certainly had cases on campus.
Sure.
But the good news has been that we've not had, and every time I say this, I reach down to the desk or my head or something that's wood and say, oh, I'm probably going to regret saying this. But to date, we've just not seen the spread on campus. As the numbers have done this, and it drives me and others crazy when we talk about exponential growth.
Mhm.
I'm not a mathematician, but I'm pretty sure it's not exponential growth, but it sure is rapid growth of the spread of the disease across our community, across the state and the nation, and beyond. But just besides that quirkiness of that, of just me being me, we've set it up so that we can continue to be responsive and provide the safest possible environment for our campus to operate. So we've not seen the spread where have we seen cases increase? Yes, we've seen cases increase. We've seen cases increase dramatically, but they've been isolated. We've got the good contact tracing protocols in place. We figure out who's potentially impacted by it. We go into the quarantine process if necessary, and we just haven't seen the spread. Having said that, we're monitoring very closely what's going on outside and trying to balance the needs of our community together with the needs of our campus community and keeping people as safe as we can. Is there the possibility that we don't open up in this, for spring semester? I don't know that that's the case, but we've got to monitor to see how physically present. So we made a decision back in August that spring semester would look like fall semester in terms of online and face-to-face courses. So for spring, we plan to be 80% online again and 20% face-to-face.
Mhm.
Worst case scenario, from a service and delivery standpoint, we're able to scale back into an entirely remote if we have to, and still be able to open up in the spring. It's just, it's continuing to monitor to see, can we keep people safe on campus,
Right.
and not contribute to spread across the community, and have, whatever appropriate level of face-to-face presence. So that is, that's on the instructional side. On the service side, we're continuing to monitor that, make sure we can keep people safe with our protocols. And I mean, you walk out the door here and Terry and Caitlin and Shelby, who work out here, each of them have, Caitlin and Shelby out in the office out here have plexiglass around either side of them.
Right.
And then I wear my mask anytime I'm not in the office by myself, which is our policy. So that's a long-winded answer, but that's where we are.
Okay. I have one more question, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
One of the things all of us had when we worked at Johnson County was email. It was on the campus email system, and we were able to dialogue with friends, and then sometimes faculty would contact with their students.
Sure.
As soon as you leave or retire, your account is cut off. You have no capability. So I would like to have you think about that. I don't want to spend any much time here, but I'd like to come meet with you and talk about if we can't do just one account, something to help us keep in the loop, because we don't know sometimes what's really going on. So that's just an idea I want to float up to you. Okay.
Okay. Well, and I wasn't aware of that, although I will say, at both of the community colleges I've worked at, it's probably a fairly typical practice, but I've heard the same thing in the past at Ivy Tech, more so in Grand Rapids Community College where I worked. The retirees were so well connected to the college and how do we do that? So I will have a conversation with our IT team, IS team, and get a better sense of that.
And I live in Lawrence, and I know that the University of Kansas does have, they don't lose their email because they know they need, those faculty members in particular need to talk to students and other faculty and so forth. And I think that's probably the same thing. So
Sure.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'll let others ask questions now.
Sally. Yep.
Okay, so I am teaching a wellness class, Zoom. It's a Tai Chi class via Zoom, which is very difficult. Are there any types of instances where you're letting someone come on the campus and just do a Zoom meeting with their class from campus? Because then I would have the gym, the small room. Well, it's not a small room. It's the workout room on the campus, because my house is just not that big enough to actually do it here. I'm doing it, and everybody's really being very patient with me. But if I could just come on the campus one day a week and teach it from there via Zoom still.
Yep. I know that we have faculty teaching from campus via Zoom. At least I believe we are, from my conversations with others and my observations. So what I don't know are any specific limitations in your case. I'm trying to think, is that, does your program fall within the health areas?
It's a staff development class, actually.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha. So that happens through the continuing ed group then?
Yes.
Okay. Have you asked about the possibility of doing that?
I haven't. I just
Oh, I
wondered
would.
if there was any other cases where somebody is teaching on the campus that way.
And I don't know as much about the continuing ed side in terms of what they're doing. I was thinking more about the credit side. Having said that, my father-in-law was famous for, what's the worst thing going to happen if I ask? I'm going to hear no. And
Right.
so one of the many things I appreciated about him. So I wouldn't hesitate to ask.
Okay.
Good. What else? Maybe just, I don't know how many of you have been tapped in at all over the years with our debate team. That was one of my fun surprises when I got here, was the fact that we have a debate team that competes nationally. They have competed in several competitions with other universities. One was at Northwestern, and then they had another one this past weekend, and they've got more competition coming. They do it all virtually now, kind of like what we're doing here, but debate. And our debate team, in the two that I can think of, our debaters have finished 4th and 7th overall against, major universities. So it's fun to see and uncover the things, even all the research you do preparing for a job, the things you don't know about that you find out. That was one of the really good surprises. So if any of you on the line started that, thank you.
That debate team has been outstanding for years and years and years. So I'm glad it's continuing. Have you given any thought to, in your wildest imagination, what you might like to see the Retirees Association do, be involved with, support the college as, et cetera?
I've had some thought about that, but I haven't had a ton of thought about it. And I'd love to engage you in more conversations about things that you think you could be doing, would like to be doing with the college. Here's what I know. Community college students need support. And I'm not talking, they need financial support, And for those of you who give to the foundation, thank you. That's not what I'm thinking about right now. What I am thinking about are the students that that need somebody to keep an eye out for them, that encourage them, that help them problem solve, that are particularly for our first generation college students, that nobody in their household's gone before them and they're having to figure it out by themselves. And boy, if somebody could just come alongside a student, you don't need to have a whole bunch of students, but if you had a student or two that you checked in on from time to time and just see how they're doing, and the life cycle of the college, it hasn't changed much. And you could be tremendously helpful for students. So that's one example. And I would turn it back to you and say, well, what would you like to do that would be helpful to the college? And we're about ready to embark on a strategic planning process. So one way that you could be helpful to us is if we offered a session for you as retirees to give us your insights about the future of the college. Where do you think we go? You certainly have a vested interest in our success. And so I bet there'd be an opportunity there to participate in that work. Hey, I appreciate no stump the chump questions.
All right, anything else? Anybody else here? Ready to go? I got all kinds of things. We'll come visit with you once everybody doesn't get sick visiting or something, and work through it. But thank you so very much. It is great to meet you. It's an interesting place in a lot of ways. So thank you so very much.
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you so much. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know it's going to be different for all of us.
Yeah.
And so I wish you, while we all have so much to be thankful for, I wish you a joyous holiday season. So
Great.
All right, I'm going to drop off and let you keep on going. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Andy.
Bye.
Lori. Hi, Lori. Hi. Is she there? Oh, she's muted. Lori, you're muted. You're muted.
Yes, I am.
Now you're not.
Okay, so next up we have, I believe, Mary Esselman from Operation Breakthrough, and we had Jennifer Heineman, but I seem to have lost her somewhere, if she's there.
I'm still here.
You're still there? Oh, there you are. Okay. It's hard to find everybody. So they're going to give us some information about Operation Breakthrough and all the wonderful things that they are doing down there to help all those little people and their parents and the community that they work within. I think there's 3 or 4 of us that are volunteering down there at different things, or 4 different things. Jonathan Bacon's one, Debbie Hasser is one, Anita Tebby, and myself. So we're excited to see how you've been managing through this COVID situation.
Great, Lori. This is Lee Duckett. I just want to tell you I'm here. My camera's not working, but I'm here.
Oh, Lee's here. Lee's there too. Okay, sounds good. Hopefully we'll see you in a bit.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm really glad to be here. It's Mary. We thought we would divide our presentation into kind of 3 pieces today. We thought we'd start out by sharing our annual video. One of the things we are excited about each year is to just showcase an element of Operation Breakthrough. And in the past year, our film really highlighted the #1 question we get, which is what happens to the kids who go to Operation Breakthrough. For those of you that aren't familiar, we're going to be celebrating our 50th anniversary next year. And we are actually started by 2 nuns who were teaching on the each side of Kansas City, Sister Berta and Sister Carita. And some parents came and said, hey, we have no one to watch our children while we're at work. And the sisters thought, you know what, we could do this. And they started out with 4 turned into 40 turned into 400. And today we're serving over 700 children and families. What makes it really special is we combine education, social services, and health. So what I'd love to do is start out today by playing the film, and then I thought I'd give you an overview of what we've been up to for the last 8 months during the pandemic, and since we've stayed open the whole time, and how that's totally changed some of the ways that we've had to go about our business, but hasn't changed that mission. And then we're gonna take a few minutes to update you on what's happening for the rest of the year with Lee. So how does that sound? Fabulous. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, make sure I've got everything all set, and we are going to play our video. All right. So here we go. All right. Let me make sure it's sharing. All right. Here we go. Everybody see my screen?
Being Black, being from the east side of Kansas City, being a first generation college student, I've always been having to prove myself and show my work, so to speak. Well, it wasn't easy getting on at the KC Star. I actually had been applying to freelance for some time. I began as a temp journalist on contract for 6 months. That eventually became an opportunity to work in the features department. I actually was very happily employed at the KC Star. I just got an apartment right by Operation Breakthrough. I just got a car, and I went to my first National Association of Black Journalists conference in 2018 in Detroit. And while I was there, the Times on a whim asked me to interview, and I just kept thinking, like, this can't be real life. Fast forward a year, and I am here on the Metro desk of the New York Times. And it's still so surreal. Most people, their idols are like Beyonce and Jay-Z. My idols are like great writers who have done great journalism. And I see them literally every day in the office, walking through a place with such history and with such a resume. It's easy to shrink yourself. I have to fight against that. At times it's a meritocracy. If you want to move forward in this organization, it's important that you believe in yourself enough to know that you belong there. So many people have been just a part of my story and my upbringing. My dad worked at the Armored Foods plant. My mom, she was a finisher at Hallmark Cards. Two parents who never went to college. They had vision and just really poured that vision to their kids. Remembering Operation Breakthrough is just kind of like this collage of memories, like just my childhood. I went there from like a few months old until literally I got a car in high school. I loved the summer program, but learning how to read and African drums and all the exposure that I had to things I never would have seen otherwise. As time and life continues on, there were just these kind of moments where every day where I was like, wow, that traces back to OB. And it just kind of continues to reinforce just how integral the center was in me becoming who I am.
I come to Operation Breakthrough on the bus after school's over and do all sorts of activities. I like to take pictures and play the alto saxophone. I actually got my instrument from Operation Breakthrough. What makes me special is really caring for my family. I don't want to cause any problems or any stuff like that. I just want to make sure that everything is fine. Because I like to worry a lot for some reason. If my parents are not doing good financially, then I'll try to keep my part up to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm a really joyful person. I actually try my best to make my peers and my family happy. Roses are red, violets are blue. This is my second summer working for Operation Breakthrough. I love this job and working with the kids and everything. It's just a big group of children who all have a story to tell. Can somebody tell me what a metaphor is? Ooh. You guys are going to be writing about something that really mattered to you. Just write down what you feel. Your poems can rhyme, but they don't have to rhyme. I joined the poetry team in 11th grade. I ended up falling in love with it, and spoken word became my new thing. When they first asked me to do the poem about my mom on the bus tour, I was so nervous.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we're here to share the City You Never See bus tour. It was actually started about 15 years ago by one of our founders. She felt it was really important for the community to see kind of where our families live and work, and really the resilience that it takes to raise a family in poverty. Our next speaker is actually not a lot older than you are. She just finished her first year of college at Loyola in Chicago.
My name is Aisha. I've been with Operation Breakthrough since I was 4 years old. Operation Breakthrough was just a really big support system for the things that, I had to see and go through with my own family. So this is a poem that I wrote for my mom before I went to college. I want to take you back to the days when it was just the four of us in that 2-bedroom apartment, where the walls were thin enough to hear your secrets. Dear mama, this is for the times when I was just too little to protect you. When my heart grew big enough to jump in front of his fist for you, but my body was still just too scared to take the punch. Dear mama, this is for that one night you gave daddy a choice to leave the 2-bedroom apartment that you paid all the bills for, and he said no. So you left instead, and when you put your hand out for me to come with you, I shook my head, and in that moment, everybody thought I chose daddy. But my words were just too little to scream or argue that no. I just wanted home. And I always blame myself for not being your little hand to hold. But if the universe worked that way, I go back and act as the young woman I am today. Hold your head in my lap. I go back and be the friend you never had. Dear mama, this is for all the times you wondered if you were doing it right. Mama, look at me. I graduated. I'm going to college in a few months. This is for you. This is your song. My dad was my best friend. One day I was with him like all the time. And then after that, like he was just gone. My mom is such a beautiful person on the inside and out. And I feel like I have to protect that sometimes. I'm not a parent, but I feel like a lot of times I play that role for my siblings. I found that my passion is really helping people one-on-one. I just declared a major in social work with a minor in political science. So eventually I can go into policy and use my skills there. I started writing when I was 12 years old because I was going through a traumatic time where my brother was shot 9 times. I turned to writing to get everything off my mind instead of piling it up. The easiest thing to write about is pain, because I feel like everyone goes through it. You have to come from pain and suffering to get to where you want to be in your life. Here at Operation Breakthrough, they want us to have high expectations for ourselves. I want to keep my grades up, stay on honor roll, get scholarships to go to college. So I have to be strong. I have to be a fighter. I have to get everything done. If I don't do it, who will?
I'm the founder of Ruby Jeans Juicery, a startup juice bar here in Kansas City, Missouri. It's special for me to have the opportunity to, operate a business here at 30th and Truce and being right across the street from Operation Breakthrough. I drive past there and I see kids running in and I kind of have like a flashback, like, man, that was me, 30 some odd years ago, but that was me. My mom was a single mother of 4 kids. We lived in a tiny little 2-bedroom duplex right on Wabash. And going into preschool, we ended up at St. Vincent's, which is now known as Operation Breakthrough. I had a strong family unit, but I remember that sense of community stretching over to St. Vincent's even back then. There shouldn't be a gap between what you can afford and how much love you can receive. So I think it's very cool that Operation Breakthrough fills that void for so many kids. I consider it an immense blessing for my life to have come full circle and to open an all healthy establishment in what has historically been a food desert and be a part of changing an area that I grew up in. Thank you for supporting the business. Ruby Jean's Juicery was created in honor of my late grandmother, Ruby Jean, who died at 61 from type 2 diabetes, primarily from living a life of eating soul food and little exercise. I decided to create a juice bar in her honor and a way of making health very attainable for all walks of life. Morning. In 2015, I took all of the small 401k that I had built up as an insurance adjuster. I took my savings and I wagered it all against my passion. And now 4 years since then, we're at 3 locations in Kansas City and 1 in Springfield, Missouri. We were approached by Whole Foods just about a year ago. Hey, we love what you guys are doing and we would like to discuss partnership. I freaked out a little bit. I was like, wait, what? We met, and hey, look at that. Sparks flew, and a year later, almost, we opened inside of their Kansas City location at 51st Street. I'm passionate about the kids at Operation Breakthrough now, telling a bold message to them that it's possible. You and I are no different. I always tell kids to just focus on finding passion. And if you find passion, you will have unlocked a very, very valuable treasure.
You need 1 cutter, 1 person for the toppings. Yep. Everybody who is handling food, you need gloves on. Today I am manager. Continue doing what you're doing. I'm supposed to make sure everybody is where they're supposed to be at and in their position. That's something that I plan to do in life, is to lead a lot of people. So this helps me practice on that. Are y'all here to help? I want to show kids that they can do the same exact thing as adults. Can y'all follow me, please? Because sometimes kids doubt themselves. Follow me. Do you got a job? Follow me. Do you got a job? Follow me. Something that makes a good leader is someone who can take critiques and let other people lead. Sometimes because as a leader, you can't all the time be bossy.
You guys ready to get started? Hello, my name is Kanisha, and I am with Resumes by Nisha. We're going to talk about documenting your career journey today. Today is our Build Your Bridge event. It's a professional development summit, and it really means a lot to me being an OB alum. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming. I want Operation Breakthrough parents to feel empowered to seek out resources and not feel confined by their situations. We have different speakers out today, workshops on resumes, LinkedIn, and letting go of self-imposed limits. Parents are welcome to come in here and have access to donated clothes for job interviews. We really wanted to make the kids part of it too. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's important that we build them up.
There you go. Good job.
This event for me connects back to my childhood at Operation Breakthrough. Operation Breakthrough was my place. It was my first community. By the time I was born, my mom just wasn't able to take care of me. So my great aunt and uncle stepped in. I'm not sure how they would have been able to take in a child unexpectedly if it weren't for Operation Breakthrough. Today, I work for a local company doing graphic design, marketing, and social media. I started Resumes by Nisha during my senior year of college. I work with clients from New York to Los Angeles, different positions in the industry. I really just enjoy helping people believe in themselves. I really wanted to figure out a way how to give back and provide for moms and kids here. Sorry. I feel like everybody's whole point here today is don't give up. Stick to it. What you guys did today was amazing. Thank you for making this happen.
We're at Burns at McDonald. It's like this big engineering place. I come here with Operation Breakthrough after school. Today, we're coding our robots. Yes! Coding is when you do something or trying to make something like move or talk to you. I was 7 years old when I learned how to code at Operation Breakthrough. I am working with the engineer. Driving forward. She helps me and I help her. There you go. Nice. I get to do lots of cool things here. I built a robot that can pick up things. Yes! Woo! We got it. I think I can work in a place like this.
I was constantly told, you're going to end up in jail or pregnant. My mom wasn't able to take care of me because she became an alcoholic when I was young, and my dad's in prison. My mom, sometimes I can't get in contact with her. Then she'll pop up like, you can get me from the hospital. And that is really a tough feeling to deal with when you're juggling all the struggles of college and life. I was raised by my aunts. They want to help me, and it scares them when I struggle. Operation Breakthrough was the first real positive force in my life because it kept us off the streets and opened my mind and made me realize that it was a world more than just the hood. I graduated valedictorian at Cristo Rey in 2016. Now I am a chemical engineering student at the University of Kansas. I am also juggling being the president of the National Society of Black Engineers. We're NESBIC, Future Engineers. It's an organization for Black engineering students so they can support each other in a world where there's not a lot of us yet. The hardest part about being an engineering student, a minority engineering student, is not to give in into the pessimistic thoughts that you don't belong here. I wasn't prepared the way my classmates are prepared. They're already coming in with college calculus courses under their belt, an experience with robotics. To know that OB has kids so young in STEM, science and math, inspires me. It gives me hope. I have faith because I'm an OB kid. We're resilient. We're people that will eventually contribute to society.
These kids, if you just give them that little push and hold them steady as they continue on, the return on investment will be amazing.
I am smart, I am kind, I am strong inside and outside. I am persistent and I am change the world.
So I hope you enjoyed just getting a little glimpse of something really important, which is all of the children that we serve and how important it is in terms of the Sisters mission that we still hold today to integrate social services, health, and education. And wow, what a difference it makes. So let's talk a little bit about the last 8 months. So as I mentioned earlier, we actually stayed open the entire time since March. And that was a pretty big pivot for us right away. I mean, we went from hand washing like we normally do to sanitizers and taking temperatures. And literally the health department suggested masks on a Friday. And we had people sewing all weekend so we could have about 350 50 masks on Monday to make sure we were set to go. Since that time, we escort all of the children to classes. Originally, we were only able to do essential care. So that meant any of our parents who were enrolled, who were in healthcare roles, such as a nurse, a home health aide, or a nursing assistant, we actually could take their children. We also were able to take a couple of families who were in crisis that were approved by the health department. But that meant helping our school age kids from kindergarten to 8th grade manage school remotely, and then really trying to work on those kindergarten readiness skills for the kids that we could have present. All of our teachers then, for all the kids that couldn't be there, imagine that was over 600, created websites in which they tried to work remotely. We literally did a survey right away of who had hotspots for internet connections and who needed devices so that we could make sure every family could connect, not only for telehealth reasons or social service case management, but for school, as well as to connect with us. So you can see in this picture, this is a rising kindergarten class. So they were about to head to kindergarten this fall. You can see the teacher is teaching a small group. Up in the left, she's playing her ukulele while the little one is singing rhyming songs, because that's one of the kindergarten readiness standards. And then at the bottom, working on a pattern activity. One of the things we found out really quickly is there were not a lot of resources at home that we could use in making sure we were hitting all the readiness standards. So you can see we had about 300 ice cube trays donated. You can do about 5 readiness activities just with M&Ms in that ice cube tray, from rhyming, sequencing, color sorting, and counting. And then we had cookie trays and letters and Easter eggs that we used for math. So just all kinds of kits that we sent home through the pantry, as well as sent home. Parents were able to pick up, or we delivered them if there was no transportation. But we also realized that for a lot of kids, if you couldn't, sometimes working over the internet is not always really effective way to learn. And so card table and some stools out on the sidewalk in front of the house was our Learning on Wheels program to really help kids face to face, 30 minutes face to face. Wow, what a difference. We had to shift our pantry to make sure that we wouldn't have to close it if we had any positive cases. We literally were using 6 different entrances over the summer. We had this on our loading dock, and we not only were caring for our families, but also all of the local agencies where they had to close and they still needed support for their families. We did deliveries, as you can see in the upper left. We've actually, since the pandemic started, have given out over 200,000 pounds of food, toiletries, and diapers. So huge. And then the learning kits. Summer, we actually ran 2 summer school programs. The local high school, De La Salle, gave us their building for the summer because no one was doing face-to-face, and we knew how much learning loss has occurred. So we were able to run both sites. Kids can't rotate. Even now you go in, you're in the same room, same teacher all day. So we delivered STEM kits to all of the kids. So they were doing bridge building. They even built solar ovens and were able to eat the s'mores, which was quite a popular activity. We have 2 big gardens, outdoor classrooms. A lot of the plants the kids grew from seeds. And they also, as you can see from this picture, they even built the raised beds. So that became a true haven during the summer. Graduation, we sent 140 kids to kindergarten. We couldn't obviously have our traditional graduation, so we did a drive-through, and then we had big backdrops that we used for kids to be able to put on gowns and take family photos. This is one picture I really want you to see, because I think this is an example of what learning loss looked like for children, especially those who were on their way to kindergarten. Typically, we send over 90% of kids to kindergarten ready, and that's compared to a national average of less than 50% for kids in poverty. But take a look at this. These are 2 classrooms that we were preparing for a local low-performing elementary school. And you can see on the blue is where they started. So typically these kids would not have had preschool except for a new program by the state. And so you can see, like on the far right, there's not even any readiness for the most part. By Christmas is the orange. Look at all that growth. And then look at COVID. So the gray represents kids that got to stay with us. or were engaging regularly with their parents, and the mustard kind of yellow shows the kids that were not able to. And look at the difference on numbers, letters, rhyming, some of those critical readiness skills. And I think that is where, like right now, we've been able to bring back more children. In May, it was 10 per class. This fall, in October, we were able to bring back 350 of the 400 early learners, and we have about 200 to 225 each day for our school age who were helping navigate remote learning. But I think that shows the power of face-to-face interaction for kids. And I just put the same picture up that I started with, because that's really what the world is like for a lot of our kids right now. It's masks, it's computers, and our goal is to provide as many supplemental experiences and keep families strong and resilient. So I'm going to now stop sharing, and I'm going to send this over to Lee to just give you a little update on what's happening at OB moving forward towards the end of the year.
Thank you, Mary. Like I said, my camera's not working, but you're not missing a thing, so it's okay. For probably 2.5 decades, we have been taking care of families for Christmas, and we have a Adopt a Family program, which we are already maxed, and people have been adopting families like crazy since October. And that program is where people ask for a specific size family, like 2 children, and they will purchase 3 new gifts, a gift card for the mother, and give a small food donation in cash or check. And then you provide actual presents for specific children. We have a second program called the Holiday Store, which you guys have been very instrumental in the past. And that is where we take a lot of community people and sign them up prior to Christmas. These are people that are in our general area, in our neighborhood. We check them through what's called the Mid-America Coalition system to make sure that this is the only Christmas they're receiving. We sign them up, and then they come to a central location, and they are going to pick out toys for their kids with a volunteer. With COVID, we are going to be very careful about taking temperatures, making sure people are socially distanced. They're going to come into a warehouse in much smaller numbers at a time, and we're going to let them go pick out toys. Whether you've got a baby or a 15-year-old, you'll be able to find toys for them. We get a generous donation of wrapping paper from Hallmark, so we give them wrapping paper also, and then they'll go home, wrap those gifts, and give them to their children. So we typically, in a year, will do about 3,300 children. So you can imagine the number of toys you need for a holiday store, because you're doing gifts for children that are babies, and then you have boys and girls, and you have all ages and different wishes from those children. Everything on our list is very common. There is no electronics. There are no expensive gifts. They're like balls and Barbie dolls and action figures and Legos and educational toys, things that you can find at Target or Walmart. And the parents are so grateful to be able to have this opportunity, because as you can imagine, they are not able to afford the extras that you and I take for granted. So, I need to pay my rent, and I need to pay my utilities, and I've got to get food. And then I have very little left to buy birthday presents or holiday gifts. So this is a way that we can take a load off these families that are just trying to get by and do the best that they possibly can. And all the parents want is what every parent wants, and that is a chance to give their children a beautiful holiday. So if there's any questions about that, I would be happy to answer them.
And I have one last thing I want to share, just because I know you are all educators, and we have just restarted up our DigiTutor program, because we know with a lot of our kiddos right now, there's been a lot of learning loss, and it's 30 minutes or more a week, depending on what you have to give, where you're tutoring with the child, but you're tutoring via Zoom rather than face-to-face. Because typically we have tons of volunteers that are working face-to-face, but with COVID, we haven't had that. So reach out if that might be of interest. But big thank you to all of you. I know that behind the scenes, those of you that are here volunteering, and those of you that are working on some gifts from our site. We appreciate you, and we love the fact that we've been able to share some of our work and some of our families with you today. Any questions for me?
Be sure to unmute yourself if you have a question. And while people are thinking about a question, I love the video you shared. I think I saw a similar video 2-3 years ago, and that's what inspired me to go down and start volunteering at Operation Breakthrough.
Oh.
And I am going through withdrawal now that I'm not able to be down there with the second, third, the small kids.
Mm-hmm. Might want a digi-tutor.
I think I will.
Up.
I think you did a great job. What a program. Really touching those kids' lives in a lot of different ways. And you're able to measure the improvement that's going on by touching their lives. I think that's nothing better than that. Thank you.
That alto sax that Jeremiah had, that was Pierre's, my husband's donation to have to give that and have it refurbished, and so we hope that Jeremiah goes far with that sax.
Oh, I love that. That is great.
Yeah.
Great.
That's great.
Anybody else?
Because of COVID, you guys, we're actually doing a drive-through toy collection next week for our members to drive by and drop off a toy or a book for the kids for the holiday store.
Oh, that's great, Lori. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you
Anybody
all.
have any questions?
Where do we drive by to drop it off?
I don't know.
Well, we'll be telling you that later in the program.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Anybody else got anything? Questions? Excellent job. Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
guys. Don't
Thank
forget
you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All righty, back to the business meeting, and there's some reports about events and activities. First, we need to approve the minutes from last meeting on June 11th. Do I have a motion to do that? I move that we approve the minutes. Raise your hand if you approve.
Oh, we're supposed
And
to
I'll
use,
second it.
You second it? Okay, I'm sorry. I think we're approving them. All right, treasurer's report, Lynn.
Our current balance in our agency account is $12,835.24.
Great. Okay. It looks like we've got a problem where we're trying to get people to come join us, but I think they're thinking about staying at home or out of everybody else's way. So hopefully when things start to cure with this disease, we'll start getting more and more members again. So go ahead. Scholarship
report. We are doing really well, and I'd like to thank all of our members who have donated to get us to the place where now our scholarship is endowed. So it will go on forever. And we're earning interest on those monies now, which is really great. Since the last year, since November of last year, we've donated an additional $2,746.12. And our current balance is $14,765.63. We were able to award one $500 scholarship this fall to a young man named Brendan Hayden, and he is a liberal arts major, and we expect to hear more from him when he's close to finishing his studies. Our goal is to get us to $20,000, and once we're at $20,000, which is only about 5,000 more to go, we'll be able to award scholarships in both semesters, both fall and spring. So anything y'all can do to help would be very appreciated, and we'll be helping our students at the college.
Excellent. Good. Anything else, Lynn?
No, that's it.
Moving on. Lois, I think Lori is going to handle it right now.
Oh,
There we go.
All right, Lois sent me a report that I managed to can't find now. Okay, well, come back to me in a moment, would you please?
Actually, Lori, I think everything's pretty much on the screen. She listed the new members over the last year. And then after that is a tally of the number of new members.
Good.
I found
So
it.
we've increased.
Oh.
One of the things we've done is I think I at least put the idea in the president's mind that we need some kind of email so we communicate with our ex-colleagues out in the curriculum. So we'll see how that goes. I'll be meeting with him probably in spring, given all the craziness right now.
I did find Lois's report, I apologize. But she just wanted to say that she and Sue Goodman are the co-chairs for the membership committee. Sue was a retired admin from the EMT program, and Lois, is from the science department. And it looks like we've had a number of people join over the last year, but she would like some help if possible. Since the college is mostly shut down because of COVID, it's been more difficult for her to get information to the people that are planning on retiring. In the past, she's been taking packets of information out to the college and sending them through intercampus mail, or been sending them via email. If the college, if the individual happens to retire and then leave quickly, we have no access to that person at that point because we're not given personal email addresses of employees. So she would like everybody's help, is if you know of somebody that is retiring and is not a member of the Retirees Association, to share this URL with them to join the membership if they'd like, or give Lois an email and she will contact them directly.
Great. Anything else? Moving on to events, activities, and special interest group. Debbie, Dave, and Lori, you got it.
We are up.
There's a happy person.
Jean, you're up first.
Okay, so we went to Strawberry Hill. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
We went to Strawberry Hill probably about a year ago this time because it was all decorated for Christmas. And it was a very interesting, great tour. The house itself was built in the 1800s. And then it was a personal residence until 1919, when the church, which you're looking at now, which is St. John's the Baptist Catholic Church, purchased the house so that it could be an orphanage. And they wanted it to be an orphanage because a lot of their patrons their children had lost one parent or maybe two parents to the 1918 influenza pandemic. So it was an orphanage from 1919 to 1988. And then it was purchased by Strawberry Hill Ethnic Cultural Society. And they wanted to preserve all of the ethnic heritage that's in that area. And mainly it's Croatian, but there's Ukrainian, Polish, Hungarian, Russian, there's some Irish and several others. But the architect in both the house, the museum, and the church is just phenomenal. So they are closed now. Usually this is a really fun time for them to have certain classes going on. They do a Ukrainian egg painting class. They do some strudel baking classes. Oh. We're in the tea room in this one right here, where we had Povatitsa, of course. And it was great. So we toured the museum, and then we went to the tea room and had Povatitsa, and then we went over to St. John the Baptist Catholic Church. So it was a great outing, and hopefully we can do the same thing next year. They are closed, and their opening time will be spring of 2021. So hopefully we can go back.
Looks like a fun
Well, we
group.
also did a holiday floral design class last year with Diana Ryan. Diana is the chair of the floral design program at the college. And at this, everybody went home with a beautiful arrangement. We had fun putting them together. And, you know, Diana's taught our group so many times now that, you know, it's pretty much, you go in, you use the supplies that she provided, and we all walk out with a beautiful floral arrangement. And usually they last through the holidays, providing you water them. I made that mistake the first time. Deb?
Oh, yeah, the Culinary Center in downtown Overland Park. The events there were well attended, but they had a set menu, a certain set price, and we were able to several times to actually have our own table. Yeah, we were able to sit together. So hopefully in the future we'll be able to do that again. But you can see we have a pretty good turnout for this. We have most all the times that we've done this. Of course, they have a lot of classes and workshops that one could do, the Culinary Center. But I doubt that they're doing much.
And there's Donnie Byers with her eyes closed.
So the food was good, a lot of it. And these were over the lunch hour. Okay. This is a resettlement, as you can see, the re-education of Indians in Kansas, the lunch and learn sessions at the Johnson County Arts and Heritage Museum in the old King Louis building on Metcalf. And we've done numerous events there. This one was done by a professor at Haskell from Lawrence. And they said that this is the best attended event that they've had. And our group, we have, I think, 15 or 17 that showed up for that. But it was really interesting.
Several of us got together, I think it was last January actually, and we each brought ideas for games that we could play, card games, dice games, and we had a fun afternoon. We had snacks and we learned new games. Hopefully once this pandemic passes and we're able to get back together again, we intend to do more of these.
Great. Looks like you're having fun.
We were having fun. It was a good afternoon. Also, the Johnson County Parks and Recreation folks came out and did a presentation on what they offer to seniors in their 50+ program. And they have classes, games, game days, travel, all sorts of different activities at the various Johnson County Parks and Recreation locations. And even through COVID this past year, they've continued to do programming. Some have been in person, and then some of them have been virtually, you know, through Zoom like the rest of us.
The Queen Nefertari event at Union Station. These were pretty well attended. We've done these numerous times. I think every time that they've had an event since we've been doing this, that we've had a group that has attended, and they're always well presented. So it's enjoyable, and we always plan to have lunch somewhere in that vicinity, which includes Union Station or the restaurants there in the freight area. So this was one more. And the Union Station is planning one for June 2021, and it's on the Holocaust. So it's on my sightline that we could do this, but you know, hopefully that's something that we can look forward to next year. I know they do a pretty good job, a really good job actually, of managing the people that go through there. And so hopefully this is something, even if we can't do much, we can maybe do that. The Holocaust exhibit is they're only making two appearances in the United States, and ours is Union Station is one of them.
Earlier this fall, Gene Smith's daughter, Jennifer Stefanchik, did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Oh, good. Anyway, she did a great Zoom presentation for us on the fall planning. And she talked about the types of plants to plant this time of year when it's cooler and away from the summer heat, where to buy the plants, how to take care of them. And hopefully we'll be able to do future sessions with Jennifer on different gardening topics. She's a master gardener with Johnson County Extension Center and knows her stuff.
So yeah, the sustainability farm tour, and I understand that there's two different kinds of tours. Ours was the farm tour, where the other would have included more of the solar energy, that type of thing. But Stu Schaefer, we had this planned for April this year, and because of COVID, we could not do it. So I just happened to be talking to him one day, and he said, well, we can do it for as many as 8. So of course we chose the coldest, windiest day of the fall, and 5 people, and we went through we started out in the greenhouse, and this what you see is they would have fish. This is like aquaponics, and they had to shut it down and eat the fish, and when they could no longer have someone on campus to maintain it. But so you can see, Stu, we spent a good 2 hours there. It was really very interesting. So we went from here, the greenhouse, and then on to the composting building, which I thought was pretty interesting too. It was too cold to get a lot of pictures, but a lot of things were dying off, but they had a greenhouse that was on not wheels, but rails, and it would move back and forth, and had several different kinds of gardens that they had used. It was really interesting. I look forward to doing it again in better weather. They were doing like groups of 30, he said. Stu's retiring, and I think he's on contract maybe for the spring, but he's going to join us. So I'm excited to have his presence with our group.
We have several special interest groups that you may or may not be aware of. Everything from crafts to wine to photography and technology and genealogy, and one of the newer ones is on the barbecue. And so we'll talk about each of those briefly.
This is my area, and there was one time there was 4 of us in the 3 of us in the counseling center, and another person, you probably know them, Jeff Couch, Rick Mooring, and Jeff Anderson, and myself. We just went out to eat barbecue at Hayward's Barbecue, and at that particular time, Jeff Couch says, I know a better place out in Bate City, Missouri. So we drove out there the next month, and when we drove out there, we decided to try to go to a different barbecue restaurant every month. So for almost 11 years, every month we went to a different barbecue place, and we have been to over 125 different barbecue places in the Kansas City area. So I did a presentation on those visits that we did, and it was at Antioch Park, and we had about 15 people there, and it was nice to be outside, and it was really good for the COVID situation. And basically what happens is I just did a presentation. I gave everybody a list of all the 125 different barbecue places that we have been, and I gave a list of my top 15 barbecue places, and had some really good group discussions, had a lot of good questions, and our group has been on the Food Channel. We've been in the Kansas City Star. We've had people from London come to visit us. We've been in Doug Wargall's book on barbecue of Kansas City. So again, it's just a great presentation, and so another thing that we did, but it was great being outside at Antioch Park.
Wine sig. Okay. So back before we had the self-distance, we were doing wine tastings every other month. And our group got to be nearly 40 people, and there were very few places that we could actually meet. But we were tasting like 5 different kinds of wines. People would bring appetizers, and it was quite the event, a whole lot of fun. Since then, on a monthly basis, we've had 1 or 2 wines, and we do a Zoom wine tasting. And this is managed by Lyle Craybill. And I think everybody has enjoyed it. It's pretty much visiting. So we talk about the wine a little bit or a lot. And people have their food, their cheese and crackers and whatnot. And we talked about the wine, or somebody from Lucas Liquors talked about, he gave his take on, that was probably one of the longer sessions on different kinds of wines. We have a wine tasting coming up the 17th. And if you're not on the list, the email list, you can see Lyle's email address. And he sent a group message out not long ago, but to let him know if you'd like to be invited. And it's a Zoom thing. And you can just show up and chat with with your fellow members. But it's been fun. And the next one is wines for Thanksgiving. They have 2 different kinds of wines, and an idea. It's at with reference to Lucas Liquors mostly. But we missed the 5 different kinds of wine, but it's still fun.
Julian Crabtree has headed up the genealogy SIG, and we've met before face to face at some of the local libraries, like the Mid-Continent Library, and been able to. She's a real storehouse of information on family history research, and so she's shared with those folks who showed up, giving us hints and tips and all. The last couple of meetings have been on Zoom because of the pandemic, and if you have any interest in family history, you don't have to be. You can be a newbie. You can be brand new at it. You don't have to be advanced. It's a good SIG, a good special interest group to join and be part of.
The Arts and Crafts SIG, we've done a few things over the years, over this past year. We've had a couple sessions with a gal that does chalk couture. I think Betty Earhart has done a class for us. We hope to be able to continue this once we can meet in person again, because of course this is one of those things that has to be, for the most part, done in person. I don't know if any of us, maybe Betty would be comfortable doing something virtually, and we'll have to pursue that maybe after the holidays.
And we've had a series of JCCCRA chats, and one of the topics, one of the early ones we had was on arts and crafts, where people basically showed the crafts that they've created, everything from quilts to you name it. And that we hopefully will continue doing some of those things while this pandemic's on, so we can still keep in touch. We also did a session on best unique and little known places. It was both a chat, and I think that one was kind of a joint session with the photography SIG. And if Dick's online, I don't know if he wants to add any comment to that or not.
You mean a particular shot, or just?
Well, no. To any of what we've been doing.
Okay. So yeah, we're blending the photography with Jonathan's group, and we're having a good time doing it. That shot happens to be on Lake Michigan, from the Michigan shore, actually. But so that surprised me when I came up. Well, we started out the photography group. We're just asking people what they wanted to do, just so I could get a sense of where the needs were and the desires. And so we, on several events, we did things like nighttime shooting, close-ups. Then after a while, I got tired of that, and we decided to talk about sharing our own photographs. And so I think people have enjoyed that. John Head has really had a great time with that, especially. And John has some really nice material. The last one was a beauty, a Kansas beauty. And we enjoyed that so much that we decided that the next one will be an extension of that. So we would invite anybody to come enjoy other people's shots, or just be free to show off your own, so we can enjoy it as well. One of the trips, that is one of the events, was just your favorite trip shots. And so anyway, we've had a good time with that. We would love to have, yeah, go ahead, John.
Oh, I was just going to say, one of the advantages of the chats are it gives us a chance to kind of share information back and forth, like in the photography SIG, share a favorite photo or to share a place that you've traveled to. And we did one on hiking, biking, and walking trails. And also, this is the one I think Dick was leading up to talking about, is that folks had taken pictures of Kansas City landmarks and murals. And so we shared those. It's just kind of an interesting way to share what folks have, where they've been and the shots they've taken. We even at one point asked folks to send us their favorite pandemic photo, not a picture of the pandemic, but a picture taken during the pandemic. And we got some quite interesting options there. And this is the first session that Dick was referring to. And I don't know if you wanted to say anything more, but this is one of those John Head photos, I believe, of the rotunda of the Topeka, Kansas, capital.
No, I said all I need to say, I think, Jonathan.
Okay. But the premise of this chat was that there's so much that's beautiful in Kansas and things that people have not seen, have not traveled to see. And so we wanted to give folks a chance to share their photos. And we're going to be doing that again, as Dick mentioned. And so now we're on to upcoming events, and we'll turn it back to whoever is in charge of each of these.
Okay. So next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I have communicated with Samaya Anani, who many of you probably know. She was a student at the college for some time, and also teaches weight training. I took weight training with her back in 2006, but has been doing yoga on Zoom. And so I signed up for Zoom classes at her studio in March. And then when I could enroll in Zoom credit sessions, I've been doing yoga with her 4 days a week. But she has agreed to do for free next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And the classes begin at 10:30 to 11:45. And you all are welcome. It's a Zoom experience. You don't have to be on, you can turn your camera around the other way. You don't have to, you can look, but, not be visible. So I'll get that information out on, in Facebook and also the email. And then she has a Zoom link that she'll send to us, but her classes are, it's yoga, but it's different than what I remember. Well, I've practiced yoga a lot continually, but hers is, it's more of addressing the core. So it's like you could do yoga, but you still couldn't get up off the floor. So I'm working on being able to, to get up without having help, but having to push myself up. But so please, I think you would enjoy it. There's a lot of affirmations, and she has a lot of knowledge about the body and the organs and whatnot. So hope you can do that.
On November 17th, we have the follow-up to the Kansas Beauty in All Seasons Part 2, and it'll be on Zoom, and we'll remind you on Facebook and also email. But again, we still have room for a few more presenters. If you have been some places in Kansas that you think people are not familiar with, or you want to share particular beautiful photos you've taken, we'd love to have you participate on that session. Now I'll turn it over to anything further you want to say about the wine sig on the 17th?
Thanksgiving wines, sign up.
We might say too about the wine sig, you don't have to drink wine to join in. If you're a non-drinker, you're still welcome to join in and participate and see everybody and have a good conversation.
But I understand it's more fun if you do drink, right?
Good one.
Program on breakfast wine.
Jerry. On November 19th, which is a week from today, Anita Tebby, Debbie Hasser, and myself will be at the Circle Drive in front of the Carlson Center to collect any toy, book, or financial donations for Operation Breakthrough. This information was sent out on email, email through Google Groups and also posted on Facebook. And if you're unable to come in person, there are other options for you to make a donation to the holiday store. And those would be via their online site, or you can mail a check directly to Operation Breakthrough, or you can mail a check to me and we'll turn it in at the same time as we turn in the toys and books. But we would love to see you, and you might get a little sweet treat if you show up in person.
1 week from today.
Well tested? No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No. Okay. The next thing I think is Dave Ellis's.
Yeah, I'll talk about that. Yeah, on December 2nd, we decided to have a Zoom conference where people will have a chance to come and just visit about some of their favorite JCC memories. And I visited with Chuck Bishop, and Chuck is going to be there and talk about some of the first years of JCC along with Dick Stein and Phil Wegman. But the entire presentation will not be just on those first years. We'll have everybody share some memories that they would like to share. It could be during the 80s or the 90s. And we just want that to be a great opportunity to share some very positive experiences. And we'll probably even encourage you to bring some snacks and your favorite drink, and just have a good presentation. It'll be in the afternoon, and I think Chuck's looking forward to it. He said he'd like to record it. We're going to do that because he may have some memories that he's never heard of, and some people might have a good time visiting about that. So anyway, that's what will be happening on December 2nd.
Okay, and on December 16th, we have another Floral session, actually in person, with Diana Ryan on the JCCC campus in the Horticulture Science Building. There were signups for this a few weeks ago, and when I posted it, it filled up immediately. So if anybody is interested in still participating in the class, let me know. I have a wait list started, and if anybody should cancel, I will get with you quickly so that you can plan on attending. And on January 13th, we have a Naked Truth About Retirement session, and this session is going to be done this year via Zoom to the JCCC folks who are either planning on retiring, thinking about retiring down the road, or have already made that commitment. And it gives us a chance to share some of our things that we've learned, tips that we've, can suggest to them. We also have someone from HR in the last couple of years has been Jerry Zimmerman to answer any general questions about capers, Medicare, those types of things. Nothing in detail. That would take us, an individual session. But we've really enjoyed it. It gives us a chance to share, and also gives them a chance to ask questions of us about things that we've encountered through the retirement process. And
so on February 24th, Anita Tebby will give a presentation that's based on her book, It's on southeastern Johnson County, so that would be the Stillwell area. Stories about earliest inhabitants of that area, which I heard her give it, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, and it was really interesting. So we're looking forward to some good stories from Anita. And that, of course, everything is Zoom. That is also Zoom. The tour of the Black Archives of Mid-America, I've been in contact with Carmeletta Williams, and she would love to do a Zoom tour with us. And we're working on coming up with a date. They just last Friday had their first Friday opening exhibit, and it's a textile exhibit. I saw they had a quilting exhibit when they first opened, and it was spectacular. It was really, really, really good. So once we get a date on that, we'll get that you'll get that on your calendar.
I want to point out that there are 2 book clubs that retirees are invited to attend. One is Book Talk, which is the college's book club that Maureen Fitzpatrick organizes, and I've listed here some of the books that they're reading over the next few months. And the other one is a group that I coordinate called the All Good Books Club, and I've listed their titles here too. If you're interested in Book Talk, email Maureen. She'll be happy to put you on their mailing list, and so you'll be kept up to date on when they have meetings and what those topics are. They're meeting all on Zoom at the moment, as is the All Good Books, and you can email me if you're interested in being involved in that one. The All Good Books group meets 7 o'clock in the evening. The Book Talk meets, I think, at 2:15 in the afternoon. Both are Thursday meetings anyhow, but you can get the exact information if you simply email Maureen or myself.
All Good Books is usually the third Friday of the month.
Thursday.
Oh, no, the other one, the
Book
college.
Talk?
Yeah, Book Talk.
Okay.
Yeah, Book Talk.
It's the third Friday, you said?
Usually, yes.
Okay. So now we're up to any questions anybody has.
When is that fellow retiring? Looks a little young.
He aged prematurely, or just the reverse of that, I guess.
No questions?
Gotta be questions. Come on, somebody speak up.
I had an announcement or a request, I guess. I think Libby should do a presentation on all the wonderful waterfalls they have found. And I just beamed into a great presentation from Parks and Rec about the history of Overland Park. And squat about it. That was such a good presentation. But what I really wanted to tell you is, if any of you are interested, Bill Lamb is retiring at the end of the year.
Wow.
And his kids are trying to put together a card shower or letter shower. And if you would just email me, I'll send you Trista's address and the information she has. She would like any of those things given to her, so they can put this book together, and she'd like to have things by December 1. So if there are any of you that had fun with Bill or remember some of his crazy stories and stuff and would like to send him a card, just let me know. And I do still have my helenb@jccc.edu email if you want to use that. The other one I use is a Gmail account.
So,
Helen, is that something you want us to send out to the retirees on email, or?
Well, it's a secret. And I don't know. I guess it could be sent out.
I just thought maybe we could get more for him that way, but.
I don't know if Bill's a member or not. He may not if he's not a member, he's not on the email list, so we could send something out and nobody would, and he wouldn't know, you know.
He would know.
Well, if you guys as a board would be willing to do that.
What, can you send me the information and I'll send it out, Helen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Get that to you.
Is he
And I'll-
moving back to Kansas City? Anybody know?
Pardon?
Is he moving back here?
Well, his daughter lives here, and so they spend a lot of time here.
Good.
I'm not sure if they're going to relocate from Cedar Rapids to Colorado or to here. But the family is having this surprise retirement party for him, probably just about New Year's. So, it's not an open kind of thing or anything. They would just like to have this reaching out, sending cards and stuff. So
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions, folks? Any questions? It took an hour and 45 minutes, but I enjoyed it. Saw a lot of things, did a lot of things. It's amazing given the fact that we can't go anywhere, we still get some things done, which is still amazing if you think about it. Other comments, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah,
Questions?
I have one thing for Dick Stein. Dick, you know the Lake Revere Photography Club?
Yes.
A bunch of the people in there have done a ton of photographs of landscapes in Kansas. I don't know. I wouldn't have any idea how to go about getting those to you, though. That's my,
Well, our intent has usually been to involve our own members.
Okay.
Well, and John has 2 or 3 more sessions he could do of all of the pictures that he has, I'm sure.
Yeah, John does a really great job. Love to see his work. John Head, that is.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Jerry.
Other people? Surely there's some feedback, some ideas. You've been here a while. Looks like we didn't lose anybody. Anything we could do better or different? Well, that's good. That's good.
Those of us that plan events are always looking for more ideas. We're kind of
Yes.
having to think outside the box in order, for instance, to get Samaya to do this next week. Maybe Sally Gordon would like to do a Tai Chi thing. So yeah, let us know if you've got some good ideas.
Always up for Tai Chi. In fact, I have a class in about 10 minutes on my driveway. Driveway Tai Chi.
You're gonna take this Zoom out there with you? We can just watch.
No, but I'd be glad to do that. Meditation is very therapeutic during this wonderful stressful time.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be in touch.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll make it official and declare that we are adjourned.
Oh, wait, do we
all
have, Pat, did you have a question?
I just want to say thanks to you all for keeping the organization going. This is great.
Thank you.
And
thanks.
Yep.
And thank you all for coming.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you. I wish there'd been some more, but hey, it's all online. Some people don't have to do anything online. So thank you so very much. I enjoyed today. Thank
See
you
y'all
very much.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Happy holidays.